Welcome to the hardest league race of my life. Today we are looking at 39 laps around Monaco, which most of you know is the hardest circuit on a controller. With that already being hard, some other factors will throw some Spanish in the mix, make it even harder. Sit back, relax and enjoy to see if we can manage to score some points on this beautiful track as we get into qualifying for our first run. Starting well, before we get into the rest of the video, please subscribe as it would really help me out. We are driving in WOR console tier 5, which is actually together with tier 4 because they had bad attendance. Let's see if we can get a good result going into the first corner. Not great. We are gonna jump on board for my first quali lap. You can see, keep a tight line there. Here you can see my pace a little bit on the controller. Going into this race, of course, knowing already that this is not gonna be a easy race for me. I thought, how much practice do I want to do? So I did a lot of race practice, trying to just stay comfortable, be comfortable in the race. Of course, you need to have a good qualifying, but I was expecting not to be up to speed anyway in the qualifying. So I'm mainly focused on the race and trying to keep it clean, trying to actually be able to finish the race because it's 39 laps. Very hard to very easy to just hit the wall, get damage and become last in that scenario. Crossing the line for our first run, it is gonna be a 10.5 pretty much, which, yeah, it's actually not too bad. It put us 3rd place at the time, 5th place right now. Going to our second run, you can see I just got thrown off by the guy out of the pit lane. You actually want to take a line that is right on that same place. So we back out of our first run. Luckily we have plenty of fuel to go again. So we are gonna hop on board for another lap. Here you want to brake below the board on top. You can see we cut a lot of the corner already. Almost 1.5 tenths up on our previous time. Then I used the ground as reference there. Going into these corners, keeping it in 4th, but we are losing so much time. And then it is Monaco, we get traffic ahead, and I already could tell that this was not gonna be, he was not gonna be able to suddenly disappear in front of me. So unfortunately that's our run gone, and now we are on to our last run. In hindsight, I had 4 minutes on the clock. I didn't want it to happen again, so we went out a little bit too early, but made sure that there was no traffic. So here we are going through turn 1 again. It's gonna be our last run. You can see we take a very nicer, tighter line. Our turn 1 wasn't as great, but that turn gains us a lot of time. 1.5 tenths up. Now going through the casino section, the hairpin here, trying to lock the rears a little bit for that extra rotation, but the corner after that, unfortunately we don't hit the apex, we don't carry the speed, and we lose all the time that we have gained. Still, we are in 7th place. We just need to get a time on the board, and there's a lot of time in the rest of this lap, everywhere on this lap, pretty much. Here, we don't get the best exit, but it's fine. We are just gonna send it here. And we actually look at the time gain. We do a lovely second sector. It says that we are purple, it's just probably not true. That would amaze me. And then almost 4 tenths up, going over the last corner, 5 tenths up. I don't know what we are doing there. Hitting the wall. Still, it's a minor improvement. A 10-2, which is actually, for me, in practice, I didn't do much better than that. This guy, Swifty, so you can just tell he's so much quicker. But we sneak into the top 10 with a 7th place, which is amazing. I don't even think that more was in that, because, yeah, crazy. We are now going into the race, and for this race, it is actually, just like in real life, a mandatory 2-stop, which means the softs you don't want to touch. But I thought about maybe just doing 1 lap of softs. Strategy, ideally you want to pit maybe lap 7, 6, 5, and then pit around lap 20 again. But let's go on board for the start here. We get a decent start. It is not, I'm not here trying to gain positions. I am trying to keep my position and not lose my front wing. That is the goal for this race. 39 laps we've got in front of us, which, yeah, on the controller it is crazy. But as I said, some other Spaniards are gonna get in the mix. You saw on the thumbnail that that little connection issue here. Let's see what happens actually. This guy goes down my inside. Great move from him. He forces the move. I cannot really do much. The hairpin on the controller, you just turn your the stick and you just hope that the wheel of the actual car does something. But as I was saying, I keep getting the connection issue, and I don't know if there's any relation to my force feedback of my controller, as we do decide to just lap in pit one. As it's mandatory 2 stops, we want to pit early, maybe we can get a little undercut. But I was having force feedback issues as well in this whole race. And that connection little thing, I kept feeling like that was the issue as well. Like that was a combination of things, that because of a connection, there was something going on. Here in lap 5, guy behind me tries to send it on me. I didn't see him. After the race, he also said like there's nothing I could have done there, and he just wanted to send it. He was way faster than me, guys. My pace here, it was awful. And here you can as well see the guy behind me is just gonna be very close, and that is what we're gonna do the whole race. You can see me pause, trying to reconnect my force feedback. I don't know if any one of you guys have had this same issue. So now we are on Monaco, trying to fight for some points, and we are losing force feedback in corners, which makes like, I still can't fathom how hard this race was for me, because already this is gonna be the worst race like of the year for me, and we now also have force feedback issues. On to lap 8 now. Salvo behind us is on fresh mediums. Our hards are already dropping off a little bit, which on this track is even more of a difference. What you're gonna see is just gonna be so much quicker than me. 2 tenths behind me here. You can see the difference between the last guy. He's so much closer. I tried to go defensive down the middle. I still see him on the left of me. I decide to leave the space and let him go. We do get another warning, which at the time I thought I could get removed. But you're gonna see me get more warnings here. Get my own warning and a 3-second, which at the time I still was convinced to get removed. But yeah, you have to, we'll see in the end if that will even matter. As we again just try to reconnect our force feedback. Now in lap 11. Lap 12, we move around. You can see on the bottom left the little tray we have behind us, because our pace is just so crappy. Having pitted so early, obviously we still managed to come out ahead of the guys that pitted after us, but our pace is just so shit. Still, at the time, I think this was the best strategy call, as we are in P7 as a safety car finally comes out. In lap 14, we do have to make another stop. We do that. Somehow we have gotten somewhere front wing damage. I have not even a clue where. As we look at the other strategies, here you can see my tires are just so cold. Me trying to think, all right, let me maybe heat up my tires here in the casino section. Why not? As we make it even harder for us to have no force feedback on a controller with front wing damage. I never did that before actually, the near chase, seeing how much damage. You can see the whole end plate missing. I decided to stay out on lap 17, as I thought, let's just keep them behind us with the damage, because it's so hard to overtake. Pitting now for me would just be last place, driving alone anyway, so why not try and keep them behind and see if we can do something, as we get another warning, which means that the first warning that we got for leaving some space is actually just our own warning, and is getting closer to our penalty being kept. So lap 18, what you're gonna see here, I'm just very slow. You already can tell I'm getting slow, and here you can actually barely see it in the replay, but I get hit from the rear, pushing us into the car in front of us, giving us even more front wing damage. And front wing damage, and as you can see, still the force feedback, trying to regain it. And here I let him go, the guy that actually did it. I didn't even know that this guy hit the back of me at the time. I just saw the lap later that he was behind me. I thought, let's let him go because he's actually on my, like, on the same team that I am. Like a different esports team. It's just some team. Here you can see again in the replay. It's hard to see, but I just get hit in the rear for going so slow. Understandable, honestly, because I'm going so slow with the front wing damage. You can see how much time Nat is gaining on us. But yeah, he just pushes us into the wall, giving us even more damage. And here again, going so slow, we just get hit. Which, honestly, it's understandable. I don't blame these guys. No one is getting reported for this race because I thought, yeah, there's just no point. And it's also, it's hard, you know, it's hard to not, yeah. But yeah, we just go into the pits here because, yeah, at this point it's not gonna work out anyway. Now the only thing we can do is finish the race. Unfortunately, we have no more hearts, so it's gonna be 19 laps on the mediums. As you can see, we are skipping really fast. It's already, we were on lap 20, now we're on lap 28, as we still didn't know that this guy pushed us into the wall. But we leave him. We are now in P10. Can we still manage to get some points out of this race? There are only 11 people surviving in this race. We are in place 11th. But you know what's gonna happen? We are just gonna stick our nose in and fight for that 1 point in P10. And as we are moving now up to the last lap, one car decides that it is enough. I don't know if he got damaged. It is that same guy that we let past a couple of times, and we are gonna cross the line in P10, somehow not losing a wheel there, and we are somehow still gonna get a small but huge point in this race, which actually I was pretty happy about. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. That would really help me out. In your screen, you can actually see the first race in this league, which was also a pretty fun race around USA. Go ahead and watch it if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.